Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so the NBA right now, it's just a whirlwind, isn't it? You've got these intense playoff games, draft stuff flying around everywhere. Honestly, it feels like you need, I don't know, a full-time job just to keep up with it all.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the news cycle is relentless. Games, injuries, lottery odds changing. It's a lot.
Right. And that's kind of why we're here. We want to give you that curated view,
Huh?
the really essential stuff you need to grasp what's actually going on. We've waded through the game recaps, the injury reports, some concerning ones there, and wow, that draft lottery outcome.
Yeah, the goal is basically to cut through all that noise. We're focusing on the things that could genuinely reshape the lead both right now and maybe down the line.
Exactly. So we're going deep on some key playoff results that really flipped the script on a couple of series, pretty worrying injury update, and like I said, a lottery result that just, well, it's done pretty much everyone. Okay, let's get into it. The playoffs first, things are definitely heating up.
They really are. Yeah, we saw a couple of game fours that have put two teams in very strong positions.
Let's start with the New York Knicks. What a performance. They came back to beat the Celtics, 121-113. They're up 3-1 now. Didn't look good for them for a while there, though.
Not at all. I mean, being down 14 points in the third quarter against Boston, that's a tough spot. The way they fought back, it says a lot about their toughness, their resilience.
And Jalen Brunson, I mean,
Yeah.
what more can you say? 39 points, 26 of those after halftime. It's not just scoring, it's when he scores. His fourth quarter numbers this postseason are apparently like record-setting. Over 100 points just in the fourth quarter through 10 games. That's clutch.
Yeah, it's fascinating. He's just relentless, isn't he? Attacks, doesn't shy away from contact, got all the moves, and he seems to actually enjoy the pressure. Plus, you saw those plays late, getting him good matchups. But you're right, it wasn't just Brunson. Mikal Bridges, 23 points, 10 in the fourth. That was huge. And OG Anunoby, 20 points, didn't miss a shot in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Bridges hitting those contested shots late. That felt like a dagger every time. And Anunoby, you think defense first, right? But he keeps popping up with these timely buckets. They brought them in mainly to slow down Tatum and Brown, and maybe they haven't totally shut down Tatum, but their offense has been such a bonus. Okay, let's switch gears. Another series, another
It's
3-1 lead. The Timberwolves took care of the Warriors, 117-110.
Right. And again, it was Anthony Edwards really taking over for stretches. That third quarter he had,
Yeah.
wow, 16 points. He basically outscored the entire Warriors team himself in that period. Just dominant. He seems much more assertive, attacking, making better reads against doubles too.
Finished with 30.
Yeah.
And Julius Randle chipped in nicely with 31 as well. But looking beyond the stars, that three-point shooting difference, that really jumped out, didn't it? Minnesota's just letting it fly.
Oh, yeah. They hit 16 threes on 34 attempts. That's, what, 47%? Just blistering hot from deep. Compare that to the Warriors, who, obviously know Steph Curry. They were 8 for 27, only 30%. In today's game, especially the playoffs, that kind of gap from three, it's incredibly hard to overcome.
And what about Jimmy Butler? Seemed kind of passive for the Warriors without Curry there. Is that strategic, do you think? Or maybe something else going on?
It's an interesting point. You wonder about their offensive plan B without Curry. Butler can definitely score more aggressively, maybe with strategy, trying to get others involved. Or maybe, like you said, maybe he's just not fully confident taking on that whole load. Something to watch, for sure.
Okay, now shifting back to that Knicks-Celtics game, but this is the tough part. The Jayson Tatum injury. He was having a monster game before that.
He really was. 42 points, carrying them offensively in a must-win game, basically. Exactly what you expect from your star.
But then late, that lower body injury, the descriptions were pretty grim. Writhing on the floor, carried off, wheelchair. You just hate to see that.
Yeah, never a good sign. Obviously, everyone's waiting on the MRI results for the specifics. But even just short term, think about the Celtics trying to come back from 3-1 down without him. It's almost impossible to imagine. Such a huge blow.
And the piece we read even mentioned potential long-term stuff. Like, could this speed up a potential dismantling of their core? That sounds dramatic. Why would one injury, even to a star, spark that kind of talk?
Well, if it's serious, right? Like long recovery serious, it doesn't just tank this playoff run. It casts a huge shadow over their whole offseason, their future plans. They've built everything around this Tatum Brown core. A major injury could force a really tough reevaluation. Do they need to change direction, make hard choices? And it didn't help that Jaylen Brown also had a rough game, those costly turnovers.
Yeah.
It just highlights how much pressure is on Tatum and how vulnerable they might be without him.
Yeah, just a really tough situation for Boston all around.
Yeah.
All right, let's try to pivot to something a bit more positive, at least for one team, the NBA draft lottery. And folks, if you missed this,
Yeah.
wow, just wow.
Absolutely unbelievable. The Dallas Mavericks, they had, what, a 1.8% chance? The 11th best odds, fourth lowest odds ever to win the whole thing, and they jump all the way to number one. Statistically, it was way, way more likely they wouldn't move up at all.
It's crazy when you think about their season. They make that big trade for Anthony Davis, then Kyrie Irving tears his ACL, they barely squeak into the play-in, and then this happens. Just incredible luck.
It really is remarkable, and apparently their tiny odds even depended on winning a coin flip and another team sneaking into the playoffs. It's the kind of thing that, well, it makes you wonder about fate or luck or whatever you want to call it in sports.
Yeah, seeing the reaction from their GM, Nico Harrison. Sure. Some people were apparently saying he didn't deserve this luck after how things went. But regardless of opinions, this changes everything for the Mavericks, right? How big a deal is landing number one for their future?
Oh, it's a complete game changer. Total flexibility now. They can take who they think is the best player, a potential franchise guy, or they could even dangle that pick in trade talks for established talent. So the top four is now Mavs, Spurs, Sixers, Hornets.
And the flip side of that surprise, look where the teams with the worst records landed. Utah and Washington. They had the best odds for number one, and they fell to 5th and 6th.
Ouch. Brutal. Just absolutely brutal for those teams. You go through a tough season, position yourself for the lottery, and then you fall outside the top four. It's a huge setback for their rebuilds. And it continues this trend we've seen since they changed the lottery rules in 2019 to, discourage tanking. The worst teams just aren't getting rewarded like they used to. The piece even mentioned Utah got fined for resting Mark Kaner to help their odds, and it didn't even work. And Washington played their guys, tried to develop them, still hoped for luck, and they ended up 6th. Tough.
So the million-dollar question, or maybe the multi-million-dollar question, who do the Mavs take at number one? All the arrows seem to point towards Cooper Flagg, don't they? The National Player of the Year from Duke.
Yeah, that's definitely the consensus pick right now. His numbers at Duke were fantastic, like 19 points, 7.5 rebounds, over 4 assists. And remember, he reclassified to even be in this draft. Shows he feels ready for the jump.
And the scouting reports sound amazing. Dynamic scorer, great defender, good shooter, super athletic, competitor. Seems like the whole package.
He really does have a well-rounded game, seems mature too, and the potential fit in Dallas. Imagine him, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively II in the front court. That could be a monstrous defense eventually. That's what some people are already envisioning.
Yeah, Kyle Boone's mock draft, his Flagg number one to Dallas. What about the next few picks in his mock?
Okay, so Boone has Dylan Harper going 2 to the Spurs, Ace Bailey 3 to the Sixers, VJ Edgecombe 4 to the Hornets, and Trey Johnson 5th to the Jazz. Interesting order.
This whole lottery result, though, it just highlights how unpredictable the system is now. What is it? The worst team has fallen to 5th 3 years straight, and a play-in team won the lottery 2 years in a row. You can see why people are talking about lottery reform again.
Definitely fuels the debate. The 2019 changes were meant to stop tanking, but the results have been kind of chaotic. So yeah, there's more talk around the league about whether they need to tweak it again, try to find a better balance.
And before we wrap the NBA stuff, there's a quick rundown of other sports news, too. Hurricanes and Oilers in the NHL, 1 win from the conference finals. NFL schedule release coming. Eagles-Cowboys week 1 sounds fun. Giannis saying he's open-minded about leaving Milwaukee. That raised some eyebrows. Michael Jordan joining NBC. Interesting. Ronald Acuna Jr. starting his rehab. Baseball. Cards on a 9-game streak. Cubs calling up Ballesteros. D-backs bringing back Lawlar. College stuff. Ohio State top Big Ten power ranking. Notre Dame home schedule out. LSU SMU home and home announced. Ancelotti coaching Brazil through 26. Wow. More injuries. Donovan Mitchell's ankle is day-to-day. Oswaldo Cabrera has a lower body thing. Bengals cut off talks with Hendrickson, Owusu, Koromoa to PUP. Dave Roberts commented on Bud Black's firing. Also, unfortunately, reports of death threats against Lance McCullers Jr. and Tanner Hunk had a rough start for the Sox. And looking ahead, the PGA Championship, Rory's hot after win, loves Quail Hollow, Scheffler, DeChambeau, Homa, all contenders too. And just really quick, tonight's games, Red Sox, Tigers, Pacers, Cavs, Jets, Stars, Nuggets, Thunder. So yeah, a ton going on.
It really is. Never a dull moment across the sports landscape, is there?
Not at all. Okay, so let's bring it back. The big takeaways from our deep dive today. Knicks and Timberwolves looking really strong, up 3-1. Big question marks around Jayson Tatum's injury and what that means for Boston. And then just the sheer shock of the Dallas Mavericks winning the draft lottery against massive odds.
Yeah, those 3 things really stand out. They highlight how quickly things can change, how unpredictable sports can be, established ideas getting challenged, teams' futures potentially shifting dramatically based on, one game, one injury, one lucky bounce of a ping pong ball.
Exactly. So the thought to leave you with is this. Think about how these kinds of unexpected events, these upsets, the injury, this lottery stunner, how they could really change the whole NBA picture, not just in the next few games, but bigger picture. Off-season moves, draft strategies, maybe even how teams think about building rosters long-term. What are those ripple effects going to be? It's definitely going to be fascinating to watch unfold.